This is the Creatively Geeky Show, the support group for your creative process.
Welcome to the Creatively Geeky Show, episode number 55. I'm your host for the evening, Eugene Stevens. Tonight I'm joined by Kris, Ray, and Cyrus. How are y'all doing?
Hello.
Today.
Good deal. All right. Cyrus giving us a double thumbs up. All right. Let's see here. So we are back to our old schedule, as it were, where we're catching up on what we've been working on, talking about what we would like to eventually work on. We've been playing. If you've been watching any of the episodes on the network, we've been adding some more visual things to our shows, trying to make it a little more interesting to watch on the YouTube side. So if you are listening to this, of course, we'll always be, describing what's going on. But that being said, if you're watching the YouTube version, it might be a little more worth your time to watch it that way. So that being said, we're going to get caught up on what we said we've been working on. We're going to start off with Ray, because that's how I've already kind of got these pictures lined up. So Ray, you said that from last time, this was in December, was the last time. No, January. January is when we did this. So January, you said you were going to find a costume for the ball and you were going to work on some drawings. So how'd that go?
So costume got figured out.
Nice. So what are you doing?
Yeah.
And I will not show it until we're actually dressed up and ready to go.
Fair enough.
It could be fun.
Mm-hmm.
But I was actually really happy with what showed up, and I'm excited to wear it. It's not as heavy and hot as I thought it might have been, which is good.
Yeah.
That's always good.
That is. And it's actually pretty decent quality. And I'm looking forward to not just wearing it for the ball, but maybe for Halloween and other things that might come up. So
nice.
It should be a good time.
Other things that might come up.
Yeah, like Fan Expo or,
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Like,
I'll be honest, Cyrus. I was thinking the same thing. I was like, what else? So
nope. So yeah, that's worked out. What I had, the drawings kind of have taken a back step because
since December.
Yeah, the winter around here has been terrible for our drawing sessions, because the drawing sessions have been canceled because of weather and road conditions and everything like that. So I kind of got a new hobby instead. I found a Rico Flex, a Super Rico Flex. That's it there. I can show it here as well. That is a 1956 Super Rico Flex. Fun little camera. The viewport is at the top, and I don't you can see anything. But anyway, so really fun. I'm hoping it's working. I'm going to take a few rolls of film with it so far. And a shout out to, I follow this guy now, Japan Vintage Camera on YouTube. He did a complete breakdown, 2 videos of complete breakdown on this camera, how to take it apart, clean it up, go through it, realign the lenses, because what happens is the top lens is your viewing lens, and then the lens on the bottom is the actual camera lens. So it's really quiet. It's really easy to use. And also a huge shout out. These gears were completely seized when I got it, and a little bit of bicycle gear oil grease, and like
cool.
Ready to go.
It smells weird.
It does. It smells like an old man.
He had it all apart, and I'm just kind of walking over. I'm like, "What's that smell? It's not offensive, but it's also like what?
Yeah, what is that?
What is that?
What's
and
that?
it's a bit
of
what
an
like
old man
an
smell.
elderly man smells like.
Yeah, and it's bicycle chain oil.
That's what they say. That's what you're gonna smell like when you're older.
Fair enough.
You're aware.
bicycle chain oil.
I don't know why.
So I was kind of goofing around with that. Like I said, I've got a couple rolls through it. There was a roll of film in it from their owner that had taken at least 2 shots. And so I finished that roll off, and I'm going to get it developed as well. when I finish the other two, I've got 2 rolls left, one more black and white and one color roll. I'm going to get them all developed and kind of see where it kind of goes from there. The other fun thing is, so this is the back will open up and you can take the back off so that you can look through the top as well as through the back to align the lenses. This is what the guy on YouTube was talking about. And then, but because you can't really see what the camera is actually looking at, you have to go get a piece of glass that's been frosted and ready to go. And so I went to a local store with the camera. I'm like, hey, I need a piece of glass that will fit in this area. And they're like, oh my God, this is amazing. And they were really cool. They were looking at it. They cut it that minute. They softened it, all the edges for me. They made sure it was all tempered and frosted. And they're like, yeah, just take it. It's fine.
Oh, that's awesome.
It was like amazing. So showed it to them. That was really awesome. And then the other thing was there was a local jewelry store that had the set screws. There are tiny 1 mil screws that are holding.
Oh, yeah.
So they had a couple for watches, and I was able to cut one down and fit it in and get it working so that it's actually aligned properly. And yeah, so that's been kind of what I've been goofing around with when I haven't been able to take drawings. The other fun thing too is that this camera is really easy to do double exposures with. Because it is completely self-winding and or manually winding and everything like that. So you got to be really careful and remember to wind to the next picture. So yeah, it's pretty cool learning all about the different formats. So this is a medium format camera. So the negatives are 6 by 6 centimeters. So
that's a big negative.
It is a fairly large negative. So a lot more detail. They're kind of equivalent to about 100 megabyte or 100 megs equivalency. So
nice.
Yeah. So
where do you send off to get the film done? Like, is it a website or is it?
There's a hipster store down in London.
Really? There's still a store you can go to.
We're too old and not cool enough to be in the store. We're just not. We're not. All of these people could be our children. Like, no.
Yes, every one of them could have been our kid, which is kind of cool though.
Yeah, it was cool, but also like not cool.
Yeah, they had a lot of amazing cameras in there.
They did,
A couple of Hasselblads that were sitting around. Really gorgeous cameras. And he was just excited. The kid behind the counter was excited that he's like, yeah, cool. Let's. And so he talked me through the different films that they had. So I grabbed 4 rolls, because they have a deal that you get free shipping if you send 5 rolls down to them. So it's free shipping, which is kind of cool. You just do it through your email. He said, when you're getting close to finishing your last roll, send us an email. We'll send the slip up, and then you can just ship it down. And yeah, so that being said, we only live an hour away as well, and Logan's not that, we'll go down and see her too. So we like to go down there, and it'd be fun to do it down anyway. So yeah,
that's awesome.
It's not going to be cheap though. Like this is not.
Well, it's actually not bad.
It's not expensive, but we're not looking at a thrifty hobby here.
Well, it's 20,
it's not.
To develop each roll is $20.
So
it's $100 to develop these 5 rolls.
Yeah, but that's not.
How many pictures per roll?
12.
Yeah, but that's just getting the negative.
But that's developing the negative.
Yeah, that's
right.
And then you got to develop the actual exposures after that. So
fair enough.
Yeah.
But I know how to do some fun stuff with the camera to see which prints I actually want to print out. So take the negatives and then figure it out from there.
Yeah.
So I mean, with a negative, I mean, like, because the most expensive and the hardest part is developing the negative. But developing the pictures themselves, like, so do you think you've got a dark room in your future?
Maybe. Maybe someday.
Fair enough.
Not anytime soon.
Fair enough. So, because I remember I did that in high school. Like I took a class and we did all of that. Like we developed the film and then we actually did the pictures and everything. And that was a lot of fun. You're trying to get everything matched up just right and everything else and figure out your exposures and everything. So, Christy did that as well whenever she was. Yes, there he is. There's John Snow. Yeah, there you go. Share the screen. But yeah, I did that in high school, and yeah, it was a lot of fun. So
yeah, something I've always been interested in doing, and then this came in. It was ready to go. I'm like, oh, fuck, let's do it. So,
nice.
And I have a supportive wife to do it. So
she's like, yeah, I guess.
Well, no, but he lets me get away with so much. So like, what am I going to do? Say no?
Fair enough.
Since he says yes to everything, so yeah.
That works.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and step in next. So the things that I had down were refined Raspberry Pi and Xbox controller sticks. So we'll start with the Xbox controller sticks. So let's see here. So these are the two of the 4 controllers that I was working on. One of these controllers, I don't remember which one it was. I want to say it was the purple one. Something happened and I actually had to gut another controller that was sitting around not really doing anything and completely change out one of the 2 boards. But yeah, so on both of these controllers, both joysticks have been completely swapped out. The joysticks run about $5 on Amazon a piece. They're not really that bad. Getting in and out of the controllers really is not that bad. It's just, several screws. The problem is when you start to get to soldering, there's several things you have to kind of unsolder. Like, so you have to unsolder the couple of wires just to kind of get the boards apart. The problem is when you get to the actual joysticks themselves, there's like 14 points you have to unsolder, and 4 of them just is like for the chassis. So those don't really kind of count, but like the other ones, like, and they're small solder points. Some of these are smaller solder points. And the only reason I even attempted this was because over the Christmas break, for Christmas, I got a new desoldering gun. And man, it as long as you flood the solder point with a bunch of flux, it took a little bit to kind of get used to it. And then it's basically like a soldering gun, but instead of being just like a solid tip, it's kind of like a nozzle on the end of it that heats up. And so you essentially just put it down over the solder point and you let it sit there for a second, and you can kind of see it starts to melt, and then it kind of hits the second point where it really starts to melt again. And then there's a plunger you can hit at the top, a button that does a plunger, and that sucks all the solder out. 85-90% of the time, it did a fantastic job, and I was able to pull these controllers off no problem. I had to end up doing a controller for Alex. I had to do both of Nick's. And then, like I said, I had an additional controller that I worked on. I ended up having to gut and put part of it into this other one. But as it stands, all the controllers in the house are working. So I felt pretty good about that. Nice. And yeah, apparently it's just a thing that happens with these newer controllers. I've had conversations with other people, and they're just like, yeah, like, so if you go online, you start looking up the PlayStation controllers, same way. It's the same type of joystick, and they suffer the same thing. And it's, a lot of people say you can get so many hours out of them, and then they start to break down. I still kind of think they were dropped slightly, in some capacity, and that's what happened to him. But yeah, so anyway, so I got the 2 controllers up and running, so he's happy, he's up, and he's good to go. So next thing up, Raspberry Pi. So got the Raspberry Pi going. I used to have a 3D printed case for it to make it look like a Super Nintendo, but like it didn't have a fan on it and everything. And I'm just like, you know what? Now that I'm using wireless controllers, not necessarily Super Nintendo style controllers, I was like, I'm just going to buy a cheap little case, and I got that for Christmas. And so there's my Raspberry Pi, and I was messing with it so much. Apparently, I did something to it and corrupted it, because I literally had it in my office here, and I fired it up. And like I hit the start button to go to the menu, and like just the outline of the start menu comes up, and I'm like, that's kind of weird. Oh, dinner's ready. I'll be back. So I left, I come back, and I start scrolling between, you'll see here in a second, I start scrolling between the different consoles, and like it's just a white screen. I'm just like, oh no, I've messed up something. So sure enough, I had to nuke it, start completely over. But I got it up and running again, and I got a video here real quick of it going. Let's see there. So, and I mean, there's lots of different things that you can download, but like I've kind of really settled on, I like this comic book style that you can go through, and it's got pictures. And the reason I like this is it's got some of the games on there, but like you can see what the controller looks like, and you know, some of the biggest games and stuff on it. And then one of the big things I wanted to do when I redid this thing was, as you're going through and you go into the console, you can see it actually has video playing of the game that you're about to go into. So, because, you know, I mean, sometimes, you know, if it's just a still picture of the box art, you're just like, what is this game? I don't remember this, whatever. So anyway, yeah, so I was working on that. Like, I've got that up and going and stuff. So that's been a lot of fun. And then those were the only two things I had listed. The next thing I have is, well, actually there's two things, and I didn't even think about it to put one of them on there. One of the things that I was working on was, so Alex has saved up his money and he bought new computer parts. And I spent all weekend trying to update the computer. The guys that are on the tech group know, they saw my difficulty with that. I don't really consider that creative, so I'm not going to go through that, but I did finally get his new PC up and going. But the other thing I've been working on is, I've talked about it on this show. In 2020, when my dad passed away, there was a company called Eagle Moss that their whole thing is you can basically subscribe to a monthly subscription thing, and every month they send you parts and instructions on, and it goes together and it builds something, some kind of an item. And I started doing this, like I said, because my dad passed away in 2020. He was a big car guy, and I'm not really big into cars. Of course, I'm really big into Ghostbusters. And so I started doing this buildup of this Ecto-1. The company, a year or so, a half into this whole process, went under. And then for 6 months to a year, for 6 months, we thought, we didn't know what was happening. I didn't get rid of it. I thought, well, maybe something will happen. Maybe someone will pick this up. And sure enough, another company here in the US picked it up called Fanhome. And so they picked it up. It took them a while to kind of onboard and get everything done. And then I was able to continue on with this process. The problem is they've had multiple problems. So like, I've had them send me parts that didn't have shipments that didn't have all the parts in it. And when I contacted them, I was like, hey, I'm literally missing this piece that's this big. That's it. I just need you to send me this piece. They will send me the entire subscription package. And it may literally be a box this big that weighs, 5 pounds. And I'm just like, I just needed one part. Is it really cheaper for y'all to do this? Which makes me kind of question some stuff. But I know I'm doing a lot of stuff with my hands. Anyway,
it was this big. It was so big.
One of the things that I ran into though was like at one point they sent me parts for the Knight Rider kit buildup about halfway through the buildup, and they clearly put the wrong label on top of it. Like I peeled off the label to me and I was like, well, this clearly belongs to this other guy. So I contacted him. I was like, hey, if y'all will send me a new label, I'll go drop this off. And so this dude can get his thing. And they're just like, no, just keep it. I'm just like, really? Like you don't care. It's just like, oh, well, whatever. It's that cheap to y'all, which like I said, kind of makes me question stuff. But anyway, so I've had issues with these people. And then like they keep getting behind on stuff. I cannot tell you how many months I literally got a package, and then literally that same day got an email. Oh, everything's on back order. It's going to be a while or whatever. And then a couple months would go by, and then I'd get a next part, and then they do it again. I am down to, if I'm correct, my second to last box should be arriving this weekend, which means next week or next month, I should hopefully get the last package so I can complete this thing. But this is what I've been working on. So this is my Ecto-1. It is probably a good 2.5 feet long. This thing is metal and plastic. It weighs probably 35 to 40 pounds. This thing is heavy as hell, but it is also super detailed. So like, there's the engine. There's the front There's the front and on the inside. Yeah.
And-
What's up? What, Bray?
Where you're gonna, I know you'll talk about it at some point, but every time you open the doors, the interior lights turn on,
Yes.
which is pretty cool.
Yeah. So like there's the in the passenger side looking in. Oh, and like you can kind of see it here on the right. Literally, you can take the little bitty handle and you can roll down the windows. Like it is that freaking detailed.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is it
Here's
like
the-
a remote control car? or
No,
something?
now here's the thing. It's not remote control. It does have lights and sound, which I'm gonna get to in a second. But like here's the jump seat. So here's in the new movies, in the new Ghostbuster movie Afterlife and Frozen Empire, they converted this to a gunner seat, but this is the jump seat. And then here's the back of it. And like I said, super detailed. And there's the inside.
You can see the
Let's
lights
see.
on.
Mhm.
Do what?
You can see the lights on in there on that shot.
Yeah, you can see the inside lights in there. So let me see here. I've got one more picture. Let me do this real quick. Grab this. There we go. And there's the gurney with the proton packs.
Yep.
Yeah, this other one here real quick. And there's the proton packs. And
Yeah.
like each one of the packs, I mean, they're really detailed. But then the further I've gone into this thing, the more I'm like, y'all are like 95% of the way there. I'm just like, I just kind of dropped the ball on some stuff. So like, you can't really tell, but like the wands are literally tucked up underneath them. There's no way for the wand to attach to the thing. And like, I literally went today to Amazon and bought these little bitty, like they're like 2 by 3 millimeter magnets that I should be able to put in there and cause them, and they'll go on there and stay. And I'm just like, that's a super small detail. Why? How did y'all miss that? But the other thing that I've run into is as I was trying to marry the chassis to the main body, like I said, these things are 25 pounds. It's hard to maneuver. And I'm gonna go back to this picture real quick. So the little blue lights that you see there on the top, the way that you install those is you have to put them on the top and screw them in through the roof. And then the roof liner goes on top of that and screws in. And so before I get to the point where I'm trying to marry these two things together, it's like flip it upside down, but make sure you don't break the 4 little lights off. And I'm just like, how? Like this thing is so top heavy, it's gonna roll back and forth. So I had no idea how the hell I was gonna do it. Well, guess what? Broke all 4 lights off. I end up gluing them back on, so it's fine. But in the process of trying to do that, I'm trying to get all of these wires to like not get pinched or broken or anything else. And sure enough, like most of the lights and sound no longer work. And I'm just like, what the hell? And so I take it apart and I get it maybe about a 1/2 inch apart and they come on. And I'm like, okay. So I put it back together and they're still on. And then I hit the button to turn them off. And I hit the button to turn them back on and they won't come back on. I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. If it was being pinched, it should have shut off whenever I reconnected everything and it was, but why is it still working when I turn it on and put it together, turn it off, turn it back on, it stops working? I'm like, I was just fed up.
Have you ever thought that maybe there was ghosts?
At this point, maybe. But yeah, so as it stands, some of the lights are going to work, some of the lights are not. The other thing is let me go back to this picture real quick. So if you're looking inside here, quite literally where the radio is in the middle, there are these 2 little buttons that would actually activate like the lights and some of the lights and sound and stuff. In theory, this sounds awesome. Oh, sweet. You actually have to use buttons inside the vehicle to turn these things on and off. In practice, though, I basically have to have a pair of tweezers that I have to kind of like go in there to barely hit this little button to get these things to turn on. I'm just like, in retrospect, maybe I should have just put buttons on the bottom of the thing or something. So the other issue that I've run into is, and I will admit the wire situation is probably my fault. I'm sure I could probably eventually one day go through, maybe figure it out. but I don't really know why I would, because of the next problem I run into. And that is this. This is the roof rack that one of the light bars running. Now it came with a lubricant, and it said make sure you lubricate all the gears to make sure that they're on grinding or whatever. And I did. But this is quite literally what it sounds like when I turn and this is just one. There's going to be 2 light bars on this thing. This is what it sounds like. That is the sound of the little lights and the light bar spinning around as the lights are going.
Sounds like my treadmill.
How? That's going to sound like garbage if I'm trying to run the music or whatever else going. I'm just like, this. I spent way too much money for this to be the thing. In fact, I'm to the point, if I thought I could sell this thing and get a decent amount of money for it, or actually ship the damn thing, that's the other problem is, hell, I don't even know how I would ship it because it weighs so much. I would honestly think about it to get rid of the thing, because what was originally supposed to be kind of a tribute to my dad, in a way that, I could do something that would be fun, think about him every month, just became a freaking hassle and a pain in the ass. And so I'm going to end up having this awesome looking Ecto, but like, I'll be honest with you, I probably won't even keep batteries in the damn thing, because it's going to be, such a problem to put them in and make sure everything's running. And, I don't want them to just sit there and of course the batteries to like leak and cause a problem or whatever. But on top of that, I'm thinking about trying to build a glassing or a plexiglass enclosure on it so that I don't have to constantly dust the whole thing. Yeah, it's just, in retrospect, I wish I wouldn't have done it, but I don't know. It is what it is. I mean, it's gonna be a cool piece. People will come to the house, they'll see it, they'll think it's awesome. But other than that, because it's too big and too heavy to even take to like the Ghostbuster events. Like, yes, it would be an awesome thing to set on the table or whatever. But I'm just like, well, I don't want anyone to touch it, because if anyone touches anything, breaks it, like that's gonna be a nightmare. So anyway, that's what I've been working on. Like, I'm almost done with this project. I'm so ready to be done with this project. But yeah. Bottom line. And so here's the other thing. Here's kind of the last thing to this. There's at least one other person in my Ghostbusters group who's also building this, my friend Bev. And I was like, I don't know, Bev, like maybe it's because this other company, went under and they picked up the ball and they're having the same problems they were having. Maybe it's just this. And she goes, no, I'm part of 2 different Facebook groups dedicated to Fanhome, dedicated to building stuff, and everyone's complaining about everything. It doesn't matter if it's the Ecto, if it's the Iron Man, if it's the R2-D2, it doesn't matter. Everyone complains about the same crap we're complaining about. And I'm like, well, then I'm never buying anything from Fanhome, because there was a little part in my brain that I thought, when I get this thing built, they have a DeLorean that would be really cool because it lights up and has everything too. But I'm just like, no, I will never buy anything from this company again. Mm-hmm. So if you see some of the cool things, and there's YouTubers online, you can watch them go through step by step the building of these things. And yeah, it's funny because I don't see as many of them anymore, and I think because they're running into the same shit we are. So anyway, yeah. That's what I've been working on. So Kris, did you want to go next?
Sure.
All right. You had make goth / princess dress for the ball and get back into your routine.
Boy,
there's a laugh there.
Okay. Well, the dress for the ball, the more I thought about it, the more like, I don't know what I'm doing, and I really don't want to learn. So let's on Amazon. And I found a really cool Renaissance dress. It's black. There was a couple of things. It had to arrive on time because I kept looking at other dresses. I'm like, not going to arrive in time. So what I wound up getting is it's a black Renaissance dress. It came with like a little belt corset thing. And then I got this cool little crown of what looks like twigs. And then I have huge platform Mary Jane shoes. So I'm not as quite as tall as him.
She thought she was going to be too.
I thought a little bit. I'm like, I'm going to be like, look at him I'm not even as tall as Quinn in the bloody thing. I'm so slow. I'm close. I'm like at least I'm almost 3.5, 4 inches taller than I normally am. But it's all black. Whole thing's all black. Then when the dress came and I tried it on, I'm like, ooh, oh, I could wear this like all the time. Like this isn't one of those dresses where it's very costumey. It's very flowy, peasanty. It's got these stupid little fabric pieces that come down that do nothing. So I'm gonna see if I can cut those off after the ball, and then I'll be able to wear it all the time. But yeah, so the dress, the more I was thinking about it, and then like looking for lace and stuff like that, I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing, and I don't want to learn, so I'm not gonna do this. And then with the routine, I will get back to it. I've gotten some stuff in that happened last year where, yeah, I'm getting back into it, but it's so easy to throw me off it that I'm sort of, I have enough of it where I'm okay. I have enough of my routine where I'm just like, okay, this is okay for now. I foresee when I will get it back. It's just not right now. What were you going to say?
Well, and this week, your routine got thrown off because Logan's coming home this weekend as well.
Well, also, so the picture that I sent you, what I'm actually working on, which is why I'm covered in paint, I got paint in my hair, is my office downstairs. Is no longer my office. So the plan is for Logan to, when she's done her first year, she's going to move home. She wasn't going to go back to camp. And so when she picked her room, when we moved in, yep, there it is. That was a very, very dark shade of green. I loved it. It was, I forget, it was clover something. Anyways, it was like a black green.
Like same depth of darkness to the blue green that we have. But
okay, yeah.
But Logan is not that girl. She is a light, bright, kind of airy person. And so that was not going to fly. So I'm painting it for her. I like painting and it's totally fine. But I am cursing myself in my love of deep, dark, jewel tone colors because that is 2 coats of primer.
Wow. Yeah.
So yeah. And I'm color drenching the whole thing. I asked her if that was okay. So it kind of got sped up because she has an interview in town this weekend. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's great. Like I could pick you up Friday afternoon. And she's like, am I going to have a place to sleep? I'm like, oh yeah, we dismantled your bed. Until the like end of April. So we were sort of, yes. Yeah. Well, yes, you will.
Good thing we got started on the weekend.
So,
nice.
Yeah. So I have to paint my little heart out. Today I did it. Yesterday, today, tomorrow. I'm hoping to be done so that it's dry enough. It doesn't smell like paint. So that Friday, because you'll be working from home, we can at least set her bed up downstairs. Yep. At the very least, and then work to piece the other stuff together. Yep. So that's what I've been.
It'll be a start.
Yes, but I have. Other thing that I've been working on is my writing. I took not some advice that he knew he was giving, but a couple of writers, including Dennis, it was the way he was talking about how he usually has like multiple stories on the go. There's like lines everywhere. He's always working on something, but not necessarily. He doesn't necessarily write a complete story and then move on to the next one. Because when he said, like, he'll get to a certain part and then he'll like not know what to do, and then he loses interest in it. So then he'll work on something else, and then sometimes that'll kickstart how to finish the other story. So I've got 5. I have 2 plotted out, like a general idea. Yeah. So I'm not gonna, because I was very strict with myself. I'm like, no, I have to finish. Yeah. Because that's what all the other writers do. They finish their stories. And then because that's all the recommendations is only work on one. I'm like, okay, I only work on one. I took it literally. So yeah, but the more other people talk about it in their writing styles, it's just like, oh, they do that too? Oh, okay. Oh, so I can do that too? Oh, okay. Because I thought, I'm like, I have to do it like these people. And it would always bug me because I would get stuck and didn't want to continue with the story and get grouchy about it. So I have like 5 in various different phases of stuff.
Nice.
I feel a lot better about that. It doesn't feel as I don't dread it, which is always nice.
Yeah. Don't beat yourself up. This is supposed to be something you enjoy.
Exactly. So that was just like, right, this is something for me. Why the hell am I putting like all these like restrictions and like rules on it? And it's, because of the way I am. But yeah, just trying to alleviate some of my own stress and have fun with it again. And so I did that intermittently over the last few weeks, 3 weeks. Found an old story that I wrote for One Man Asylum, printed that out, and I tinker around with that. I know. What was that? We remember that? Oh. So the story's like 14 years old. It's a short story too. It's only like 2,000 words.
There's something about that in the back of my first book. I don't remember what it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, the dress. That was really funny of me to think that I could actually alter a dress. That was super, super.
It was ambitious.
It was ambitious, but very. Who was that girl? I don't know. I'm happy with what I ordered. Like I will be very comfortable. It's only missing pockets. If it had pockets, I'd live in that dress.
Oh well, yeah. Pockets make everything so.
Everything better.
Absolutely.
Yeah, hoping to have the whole room painted by Friday, all the tape off the walls and floors, and just like because Logan will be home Friday night.
Yep.
Like we'll be home Friday night with her.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
That's got to get done. Yeah.
Alrighty.
When will we get to see the dress?
I mean, like on or like I could get it now.
We're hearing a lot about it. I just when
I'll put it on for you later.
Okay.
I was gonna say, probably the same time we see Ray in his thing. So.
Yes, because it's a due. Like
okay.
All right.
But that's like next week, so you don't really.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, I gotta make sure that I make a note for the next time we do this episode, which won't be next month.
May. It'll be
May that we need a picture to share. So,
okay.
Cyrus, you had work on voice work for the book.
Yeah. There's a setback with this. So the guy that I've been working with who's doing this Watchmen motion comic, that is going fine. I've got quite a bit of lines that I have to actually record this week. And he's actually given me more to do because apparently I'm not that familiar with the Watchmen stuff, the second Watchmen stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently there's a lot of narration that takes place, and I'm going to be narrating that as Hollis Mason, as the old owl. So
nice.
Oh, cool.
So that's awesome.
Yeah, so I have quite a bit to do on that. Unfortunately, the bigger project that I was working on quite a bit has been postponed. There's some issues with that, technical stuff with various things. I'm not going to go into it too much, but it's not happening it may not happen at all, which I don't know. We'll see what happens. But I did a lot of work. I did a lot of work on that. So it's kind of disappointing. But these things happen. You work on a project and not everything becomes something, but it's good experience, and it was fun. And hopefully it turns into something later. But the Watchmen thing is going well.
Nice.
So
nice.
Good.
Yeah. I need to do more. I just I'm so tired. I'm so tired. I want to do more of a lot of things, and I just don't. I sit and watch a lot of YouTube videos.
Mm-hmm.
Or whatever. I got Disney Plus again, so now I'm watching the Daredevil and catching up on different things. Yep. Yeah, definitely want to be working on more stuff. I'm not going to be making any dresses, but
That's okay.
Yeah.
Well, I was having a conversation with my buddy Travis the other day. He was just asking me how things were going, and I was just like, I'm not really working on anything really that creative, to be honest with you right now. Part of it is because I'm still kind of in a financial crunch, like a lot of people right now. But the other part of me is just like, even if you gave me $1,000 right now and told me I couldn't use it for bills, or I couldn't use anything like that, it had to be for something creative. Like, I can think of some small things I'd like to buy, but like, I'm just not like, there are ideas for creative stuff, but I just don't have the motivation for it right now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm talking to a lot of people, and I think, honestly, I think I'm kind of burned out, honestly. And it's just, I'm needing a refractory period right now. Because like Christy even brought up, she's like, we the last, I don't know, several weeks, we cook, we clean dinner, and then we sit down in our recliners in the living room and watch TV. And she's just like, is this it? I'm like, I know a lot of people who are doing this right now. It's just, I don't know. It's just a thing. I think everyone's kind of, not everyone, but it seems like a lot of people are just having in this mindset right now.
It's tough, man. Like, everything is wild and crazy out there. It's expensive as hell. We're just trying to survive, and we're all exhausted mentally and physically. We're just exhausted. There's so much going on. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So
it's absolutely crazy.
The only thing I take that back. The only thing that I've been working on that I could consider kind of creative is, I've been, like I said earlier in the show, I've been taking our shows and dumping them into this AI site and having them create reels, shorts, whatever you want to call them, for YouTube and Facebook and stuff. And then like I can go back in there and edit them a little bit. Like it, for being an AI thing, it will grab a good portion of something that's funny or interesting. But its idea of what should be framed is horrible. Like, I'm almost editing every single bit. I'm just like, so like the screenshot we have right now, if you're not watching the video version, I'm on a screen up in the left-hand corner, Chris and Ray are in the right-hand corner, and Cyrus is down the center. And so like, if I were to say something and y'all thought it was funny, like it would like put like me maybe in the top, and then it would put like maybe half of Cy and like some of the yellow background. And then I'm just like, what? Why would you not focus directly on, you obviously know that's a face. Why are you not focusing on that? And it's just, it's weird. It's doing some weird stuff. And I'm going back and I'm playing with it. But other than that, yeah, it's like you said, it's we're just kind of in a survival mode for the most part.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. I know for us, like January and February are really hard, but the weather, like we couldn't go anywhere. And I didn't really know. I don't get the last few years. I haven't had the winter blues. Like I just haven't, because we haven't had a regular winter. It's been pretty easy. And then this one, it was holy hell. Like we didn't go anywhere for 2 months. And it bugged me more than I thought it would. And when I was talking to my therapist, she's like, it's like a third of my clients are saying this winter's been hard for them. Yeah. It's just been hard.
It's been the worst winter in 10 years.
Up here.
And I was dealing with it okay, and like being able to work from home and doing all those things. But then there's been a couple of days where it's like, you know what, I'm just sick of the like at least two times where I was supposed to go and do something. The weather canceled it out. One of them was a work thing.
We were supposed to go to a concert.
So I was supposed to go to Figure 11, which was a wicked little concert was supposed to happen. It did happen over in Guelph, and we were supposed to be there, but unfortunately, roads all closed and we couldn't go. And then a couple weeks later, I was supposed to go to this hockey game for work. There was a recognition thing, and halfway through the day, I'm like, sorry, I have to get my tickets up because I can't.
Yeah.
All the roads
not get there.
All the roads are closed. And it turned out that the majority of the people couldn't make it because of the roads are closed. So,
wow.
Yeah, it was just, So I'm done with the winter, and we've had a bit of a warm up, and now it was kind of fall spring because it's starting to cool off again.
But not by this weekend. It's going to warm up again.
It's going to warm up again, and it's going to get cold next weekend. I'm like, fuck, I'm just so done with winter.
Yeah, I mean,
pick a season.
Yeah, pick a season, and then things are nuts. That's not helping.
The world is crazy right now, and
I
think the majority of people are just so sick of this bullshit that why can't we all just get along? That's where we're at. So.
Yeah.
Bug.
So like I said, everything else said, just underline it, exclamation point. I'm finding that a lot of it is what I'm doing is falling back on older things I was working on, or some things that like I had kind of pushed aside. So like I had done a Raspberry Pi thing, years and years and years ago. And then, not really having a lot of extra money or the motivation to like go build anything or anything. I was just like, well, maybe let me play with this a little bit. And so I've kind of gotten back into it. I'm trying to buy enough parts with the leftover parts from Alex's computer so that I can get a little computer going. Not because I'm wanting to play any really modern PC gaming. I was like, man, this would be like a really awesome emulation computer. So I'm thinking about really doing that. I also could get Steam installed on it and play Left 4 Dead and Left 4 Dead 2 with the boys, which is something I really wanted to do. But on top of that, like today, so this weekend I'm going to go visit my buddy Travis, and it's his birthday, and he sent out a thing saying, hey, we're going to play these following board games. You might want to like start learning some stuff or whatever. And one of the ones we're going to play is a game that I've played multiple times. I absolutely love. It's called Fury of Dracula. And there's a version of it on Steam that you can play. And I'm just like, yeah, I really want to get this going, because like I'm just kind of falling back on some old interest and old hobbies. Do any of y'all find like y'all are kind of doing that in to fill in the time for not doing the stuff that you would be normally doing? Like, or is it just me? Or am I just regressing?
Well, Eugene, I've spent the past few years doing that, like with the video game stuff, and I'm kind of burned out on everything right now. Like, I find it very difficult to be motivated, and I have reasons. I don't need to go into everything, but there, it's just tough for me to find any kind of joy or satisfaction in much of anything. But I will say this. It's funny you mentioned going back to old ideas and stuff. One thing I have been doing, and I don't think I have the motivation to actually write this, but maybe eventually I will. But there's an old story that I had in my head that I never wrote, but I thought it might be a good story. And I started listening to some music, different types of music. And I always create when I listen to music. That's always how I do stuff like that. So I started rethinking this story from the ground up. And it started to become a whole different story. Like, I based the story on a story, but then I just let it like take a different life, like let it go a different direction and see where it would go in my head. And if I ever decide to write this, it's way better than anything I've ever thought up before. I don't even want to talk about it too much, other than to say there is this thing in my head that I've thought up that I think could be legitimately really good. And it's not derivative of, a lot of stuff that I've written in the past has been very derivative of either Stephen King or whatever. I tend to do that. But this one is not really. This one is kind of like its own. The inspiration of it is not even. There was something that I was inspired by, but it's nothing like the thing that I'm doing.
So what's the Hallmark love story that you're writing?
It's called Kris and Ray, Naked in the Forest, the werewolf love story.
Never get him to be naked in a forest, so it never happened.
It's called The Legend of Ray, Twilight Princess.
I would read that.
It's based on based on City Slickers.
Yes, based on City Slickers. Yes,
the Canadian City Slickers.
Yeah, Eugene, you're in it too.
Okay.
You're the Jack Palance character from City Slickers.
Oh, okay.
Lou's in it. Lou's the the Billy Crystal character more, you know. Anyway,
Nice.
no, but sometimes I think we can, you know, we're going through stuff. We're going through some stuff, and we're getting older, and it's good to keep your brain active, even if you're not motivated to actually manifest that. Like I'm not in a place where I want to write. I'm just not in that place. But that doesn't mean I can't imagine and create in my head, you know? And that's really the best experience anyway, because I've thought up some cool ass shit that nobody will ever know about. You know what I mean? And that's the fun, you know? It's like, you know, I have the same experience with doing YouTube or anything or, you know, because like some of the best experiences I have, it's like me recording a video by myself, playing a game, and then I upload it, sure, and other people can watch it and comment on it. But the fun was me playing the game, you know? It wasn't even related to YouTube, you know? But it was the idea of sharing it with somebody, you know? That one person that I try to imagine sharing something with. And that's fun. So that's what keeps me from just quitting everything is there is still fun. There is still something there, even if, it feels like there's a bag of bricks that I'm carrying around a lot of times, but there is still something there.
Yep.
So.
No, I get that. Cause like I said, I mean, there are projects. I have projects sitting around that I could definitely work on. I'm just not. So like my newer proton pack here, it's since I put a rechargeable battery in it for whatever reason, when you go to fire up the wand, you get about halfway through the sequence and it shuts off. It's probably a small connection issue. I've talked to, several guys and they're just like, I bet if you went in there and mess with it. And yes, is that something I should be doing in my off time? Absolutely. So it'll be ready to go the next time I have an event. But I'm not motivated to do it. Like it's, and who knows, like maybe, I don't know, maybe I'll get bored at work and decide to take it in and work on it there. But like on the weekends, I'm like, I want to watch movies with the boys and eventually maybe build this PC and maybe play some games and stuff with them. But like, yeah, I just I don't have that motivation. And then what motivation I do have is for things like, well, now that I've got this Raspberry Pi together, I can go through and play some of these older games I've wanted to play. And, it's more so, I've hit that slump, and we've talked about this. This is actually why we changed the model of the show anyway, because we figured out you can't output all the time. It's not possible. No one can do it. You have to have points. And I think it's just, the normal ebb and flow of input and output. And I've just hit this doldrum right now. It's just like, I need a lot of input and to watch TV shows and movies and play games and stuff like that. And then maybe it'll motivate me and I'll be like, all right, I hit my stride. Let's get back after it.
I'm just imagining somebody listening or watching this and like, is this depressing? Are we like I don't downer?
I guarantee you, if there are other creative people listening to the show, watching the show, they're probably just like, I'm right there with you, man.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah. No,
so
it's not depressing. I don't think it's depressing because I find it's relatable.
Well, it's part of being human, right?
Too.
Like it is a very human feeling of, the ebbs and flows of creativity and the ebbs and flows of life. It is what it is.
We're all middle-aged now, so
from Bruce Lee, right? Be water, go with it, right? Like it's
yeah. It would be depressing if we were talking about the things that we used to do and how we're never going to be able to do it again. I'm too old to do it. And that would be depressing. So I don't want to get to that point.
No.
So, let's move on to what we would like to work on. Ray, so what would you maybe like to try to get done between now and what do we say, May?
So May.
May.
So I would like to have the film developed and at least the negatives selected for what I'd like to get printed out. In the meantime, I'd also like to get some drawings or paintings. I'll leave it up to either or, but drawings or paintings would be fun to work on as well.
Sorry, sitting here typing in. Okay.
Because we need to go on a walk and I want to get some shots around town.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool.
Mhm. Yeah, we have some cool houses around here.
Some cool houses that I think it would look really neat from that camera perspective. So
So yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll be interested to see what kind of a perspective you get from it. So being able to have negatives that large, are you thinking like you might want to do some larger blown up prints?
that's my hope.
Cool.
Someday I'd like to get some actual really large prints of someday.
Mhm.
Of the things that I really like to do, because the fun thing about this camera is the focal point is so narrow and can be so narrow that you get some really cool shots, and it's what I've always kind of envisioned in my head as what my paintings could be.
Okay.
So I might actually use those negatives as inspiration for paintings as well. So
Oh, that would be cool.
Yeah.
Be really cool. So,
So,
if
yeah.
nothing else, what if you could, if I mean, it's as big as that is, if you could find an old like overhead like we used to have like in school or
yeah.
whatever. You
Yeah.
could find one of those like at a thrift shop or whatever. You could take the negative, throw it on there, and blow it up real big, and use that as a
Yeah.
guide for doing a painting or something.
I've got
So.
some ideas for sure.
That would be cool. It's funny because there's a YouTuber I follow, a prop maker. He found one of those overheads like that, and it was somewhat broken, and he 3D printed parts to fix it and everything. And he's like, I know everyone's probably laughing at me. He goes, this is the best thing. If you're a prop maker, go see if you can find one of these things. Because it's like, I cannot tell you how nice it is to be able to just like throw it up on a wall and like get it to the scale I want and just be able to sketch it out. And I don't have to worry about buying an expensive projector or anything like that. And I can draw on it. He goes, it's great. I understand why teachers used to love these things. So,
The problem is the bulb. The bulb is not cheap to replace.
the bulbs are not cheap. Yeah, you got to be careful with them. So,
but I do have a projector. So I've looked up a couple of techniques that I can take a picture of the negative with this thing, then upload that to my projector, and then I'd be able to do it that way too.
that would be cool too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So very awesome. I'm going to go next, just because it was kind of the order. I'm going to finish this PC, this Ecto build. Like I said, hopefully I've got like 2 more parts. Maybe I'll have finished pictures for the next time. We'll see. Once I get that done though, like literally I've got one of the other things that it came with is there's a huge board sitting here next to me that's got like a reflective surface on it. It's not an actual mirror, but it's mirror-like. And that's what they sent for you to display it. But like I was saying, I'd like to build a plexiglass cover for it so that it protects it from dust and dirt and stuff. But I've never messed with plexiglass. One of my Ghostbuster members has. So I don't know. I may need to make a trip down to Bev's and see if she can help me with it, or I may see if I can find a cheap blade for the table saw I have and just give it a shot. So I've watched several videos on how to do it. It's just I've never done it, and it'd be one thing if I was trying to build a box, say about yay big. I'm literally wanting to build a box that's like 2.5 feet by 1.5 feet wide and 1.5 feet. So I'm looking at building a large box, but we'll see. Probably not gonna get that done before next time. And then the other thing is I don't know if I'll necessarily get to it, but if I can, I am going to start working on trying to get more parts and try to get this. But I'm almost rebuilding Alex's old PC so I can use it. Now that I've got his fans, he bought these LED fans, but they wouldn't work with his old motherboard, and now they do. And so I have a feeling it's not going to be too long before he goes, "Hey, Dad, I want to buy a new case," so he can show off the case. And I'm not so. That used to be me. I used to be that PC gamer that like I had. It's funny. It's funny how my boys want to make fun of me until they actually see it in process. They're like, "Dad, were you one of those guys that had like lights and stuff in your case?" And I'm just like, "Yeah." I said I had this huge case. I had a window on the side. I had a mirror on the bottom to help the reflections. I had all that, and they're just like, "What a dork!" And now that Alex has got it going, he's just like, "It's kind of cool looking." I'm like, "Yeah." Dad's not such a dork now, is he? Anyway.
Well, I mean,
okay. Yeah. So yeah, maybe work on PC, and then, like I said, hopefully finish this Ecto build. So, Kris, what are you hoping to work on for next time?
finishing Logan's room to basically, so that her furniture is down there, and then she can do whatever she wants to it after that. More trying to get back into my routine, which I think will be a little bit easier now that the weather's not so crappy. And then once the garden centers start opening up, I have to do a slow accumulation of mulch. What?
I have to show them my other project I've been working on.
What other project are you doing?
Gary.
Oh my God, Gary. Okay.
Keep going. I'm gonna get Gary.
Okay, I have not heard anything about Gary, so.
Do you want me to tell the story of Gary while you were getting?
Yes.
Okay, so we go on walks. There's lots of old trees. Some of the trees are oak trees. Oak trees drop acorns. We were walking last October, I think, and we in our little, old letterboard here, we have a bunch of like acorns and stuff that we collect. Well, he picked up an acorn, did a little test. Apparently, it was viable. Then he planted it, and now we have Gary. Oak tree.
That is the smallest oak tree I've ever seen in my life.
I'm so proud of it. Maybe Gary talks to it all the time.
Yeah, you gotta talk to Gary.
Talk to Gary.
Say good morning to Gary.
He does. Yeah. So there's Gary.
Yeah. I was inspired by the quote of civilizations are better for people that plant trees that they know that they'll never be in the shade in. So I know I'll never be in the shade in this guy. But that's
fair
okay.
enough.
Yeah.
So you've been talking to it.
Oh yeah.
You've been singing to it.
It's Gary.
That's Gary.
Morning, Gary.
My
Ray, have you been sleeping with it?
No.
No. It's not gone that far.
Sorry,
yet.
I had to do it. It's from Ghostbusters 2.
Oh,
And for anybody who may have, like, there was mold on the soil at one point, cinnamon. Just sprinkle a little cinnamon on there.
mhm.
Takes care of it.
Turn into a plant dad. So Gary won't be able to be planted outside for several more years, but we have an oak tree growing in our house now that he's so proud of. My uncle owns a tree farm, and my uncle's like, okay, that's cool. All right. You won't be able to do anything with that for like 5 years.
Not the point.
No.
Not the point.
But yeah, I have to start accumulating mulch because I have to that'll be around the time where the garden centers will open up. I'll be able to sort of clean up from after the winter and all the snow will have melted. It did a number, the way that the snow came and melted, there's a lot of ice that I know has destroyed a lot of my shrubs.
Yep.
So I'm going to clean up after that. So it'll be garden cleanup, mulch collection.
Fair enough.
Because garden centers are only open until the beginning of July, and then that's it. And then they all close down. So I have like 6 weeks to gather enough mulch to do this.
Well, all right then. Cyrus, what are you hoping to work on between now and May? Nothing.
I mean, I don't know. Like, I'll probably finish this voice acting thing I'm doing, and I'll just make stupid videos. Like, I don't know. I don't have any. In fact, my goal is to do less.
Good for you.
My goal is to keep collecting my DVDs and watch them, and that's
Awesome.
Nice.
yeah.
I've been meaning to talk to you about that too. If there's any DVDs that you're on the lookout for, let us know, because we've got a Restore and a couple other stores around here that have DVDs that nobody does pick up. In fact, you grabbed me. It wasn't a DVD, it was a book, but a cool little book from the 30s on how to be like
it's a home repair book.
Repair book from the 30s, which is kind of cool. But they've got records, but they also have a ton of DVDs there. So if there's one in particular you're wanting,
what I'm trying to do is just go and find stuff.
Yeah,
I'm not looking for something.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if we were maybe inspired to grab some and send them down, would that be okay?
That would be very special, and I would appreciate that. And I would have to think about what I could do for you, that would be really cool.
No. This would just be a gift from the north because you've given gifts from the south before. So
my buddy
Max, this sound like Game of Thrones, the gifts from the north to the south.
my buddy Max took me to a bunch of stores up in Pittsburgh, and dude, cheap, so much cheaper than it is in Texas. Like,
really?
Like he bought me, he's been buying me stuff too, like since I went and visited. But like the VHS tapes are 50 cents. Like DVDs are like $1, $2. Like
damn.
Down here, DVDs, they don't price them individual. Like they don't have like blanket pricing. They price them based on whatever they're worth.
Mm-hmm.
So like the good ones are $10, $15. You know, it's crap. It's hard to find good stuff, but you can. It's like, you know, Goodwill and different places. You can find good stuff. Walmart had some great stuff for a while. You know, $5 DVDs. They had some great stuff, but not. Yeah, we don't have it. Like for some reason, the market around here, at least in this part of Texas, it's all messed up. I don't know what's going on. I think there's too many like YouTubers, you know. Like, because there's all these famous YouTubers that are in the Dallas-Fort Worth area that go around making videos, and I know it's like kind of a weird thing, like people just say this, but I think it's probably true. I think that the prices have been jacked up because of that. I think they're.
Oh, I would agree.
Yeah, I think that's true. So it kind of sucks.
Yeah,
but the good old days, Eugene, when we went to college.
Dude, I remember.
And we used to go to the pawn shops, and I would get Nintendo games for $5, $2. I remember that one time we went to that pawn shop in Killeen, and they had all that stuff. And I was like looking at it, and they're like, "Do you want to buy this stuff?" And I was like, "Yeah." And they're like, "We'll sell you everything for $50." And it was like, I bought like 25 games for like $50, and it was like AAA titles, like in
Mega Man
box.
2, Mega Man 3. Yeah. I think those were two specific ones because you were like going through it and you're just like, can you believe this?
I got Zelda 1 and 2 in the box, gold carts. So much Mike Tyson's Punch Out, like tons of RPGs. Like, dude, that was fun. And that was before anybody was doing it.
Absolutely.
97, nobody gave a crap about Nintendo games, man.
No.
We were
awesome. Yeah. I remember going to a fan expo, and we had just got our Nintendo, and there was a guy selling the gold cartridge Legend of Zelda with a confirmed working battery so that the save points actually worked. I think I got it for like $40.
$40, yeah.
And I was like, hey, yeah, I'll spend $40 on this.
I mean, that's not a terrible price for that. That's pretty good.
It was high back when we did it.
How long ago was this?
2014, 2015.
Yeah.
Like 10 years
Well,
ago.
that's around the time things were blowing up, though.
Yeah.
So.
But we also got the Nintendo itself and a few other things for $100.
Yeah.
So.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that is our show for the month, ladies and gentlemen. Next month we will have. I should have done a little video thing to put up. Anyway, next month we will be doing an interview with my buddy Travis Williams. He has a new indie movie coming out that I'm going to be in. Premiering. It won't hit YouTube until I think he said June. Because
is this an adult film?
No. Oh. I should have grabbed the trailer. I may have to throw the trailer on here. Anyway, but we'll be doing an interview with him and talking about making indie movies. He's been doing it. He's 42. I think he's turning 42, and he's been making movies for 25 years. And he's won multiple awards and stuff. His newest one is actually called Film Circuit, and it's kind of, as for right now, it's his last one. He's pretty much he thinks he's pretty much done making indie movies. And he's wanting to kind of progress into maybe, writing books, but it's kind of skewering the whole the whole film circuit as is, because he's like, you shop these movies around. Literally, I'll show the trailer for it here in a little bit to y'all. But literally, the trailer starts off with him talking to this other person. They're asking all these questions. They're like, "Why are you doing this?" He goes, "I don't know." So it's like, I spent all this time, energy, and money for what? What am I doing this for? So anyway, but yeah, we will have an interview with him next month. So that is our show. If you would please check us out on YouTube and do the like and subscribe thing. Never really been saying that. If you check us out if you want the audio version, you can find us on iTunes or wherever you can listen to podcasts. You can also check us out at epicallygeeky.com. There you can find all the other shows that we do, including the Epically Geeky Show, the Creatively Geeky Show, Sustainably Geeky, and the Marginally Geeky Show. Where can we find you online, Ray?
The Reluctant Yeti on Instagram and Blue Sky.
Kris?
Just Instagram at Moody Midlife.
Cyrus?
Super Mega Graphic 64.
And as always, you can find my individual wacky adventure online at Optimachine on Facebook and Instagram for everyone on the site. Oh, what up, Ray?
And they can find you on IMBD.
That's right. Technically, you can find me on IMDb as well. So,
and me, I'm on there as well.
Oh, nice.
Hey, are you? Oh,
very nice.
From my movie I made. You remember that?
Yes, I do remember that.
One. I do remember that.
Oh my God. I seriously thought you were about to pull up a DVD and be like, so for everyone on this site, have a good night.